Welcome to Stopping Goliath. My name is J Kimmel. Today we're going to be discussing this surge of violence against churches in the United States in the first 3 months of this year. If you look at the description of this video, you'll find an article, and if you want to go back later and check it out, this is where I'm pulling the stats that I'll be telling you in today's video. If you think this truth should be known by other people, please like this video, share this video with your friends. And you know what? Comment. I would love to know what you think about this topic. And please subscribe to our channel. If you hit that notify bell, you'll know every time we drop a new video. So there were, believe it or not, 63 acts of violence against Christian churches just in the first 3 months of this year. 43 of them in January alone. Horrible violence against churches. And just to give you an idea, if you're wondering, well, what's normal? In 2020, zero. Not a single act of violence against a church. 2021, 14 acts of violence in the first quarter of the year. 2022, 22 acts of violence. 2023, this year, 63 acts of violence against churches in the U.S. Now, these acts of violence fall into different categories. Some are vandalism, some are arson, fire bombings, some are gun-related incidents, some are bomb threats, and then there's an other category. These attacks span 29 different states across the country, North Carolina, of all places, being the worst. And just to give you an idea of what some of these incidents were, because you're thinking, well, maybe just a little spray paint on the outside of a building. And certainly some of the vandalism was, not horrendous. But here's some of the things that happened to churches in the first 3 months. Smashing the sanctuary, literally destroying the sanctuary of a church. Spraying fire extinguishers at the carpet of a church. And by the way, that will ruin the carpet. In one particular case, vandals completely destroyed all of the sound equipment, all of the beautiful stained glass windows, and smashed a piano. Some of the arson was particularly heinous. And right here in Texas, there was a traditionally black church in Austin that suffered over $200,000 in damage due to arson. Of course, some of these firearm-related incidents include the 6 people who were murdered in Nashville just in the last couple weeks, and a late-night shooting at a church in Shreveport, Louisiana that sent 4 people to the hospital. There is a church in Philadelphia that, thankfully, they found the pipe bomb that was planted in the church. And one of the other incidents was a stabbing. Okay, so we're not just talking about spray paint on an exterior brick wall. We're talking about serious acts of violence, acts of really domestic terrorism against churches here in the U.S. And by the way, many of them were accompanied by graffiti like women's body, women's choice. See, this whole thing got kicked off when the decision upcoming on Roe versus Wade leaked out. And this, remember, I'm only talking about churches right now. Forget about the acts of violence against pregnancy resource centers, which has also been off the charts. This is just churches. The other type of graffiti that we're finding, especially on the newer violence, are things like trans power on the outside of the church that's been destroyed. So why is this happening? Why in the world are all these attacks taking place? Well, it's pretty simple. The opposition to Roe v. Wade, the people who are trying to get trans rights, realize that the FBI and local law enforcement, especially in liberally run cities, places like Chicago and Philadelphia, the perpetrators realize they're not doing anything about it. They're not arresting anybody. They're not even trying to solve the crimes, and they're certainly not making any arrests. And if you let people get away with criminal activity, we know what happens. They will simply do more. And that's exactly what is happening. The truth is, we should expect it to get worse, not better. By the way, I don't know if you saw this or not, and I don't know if it's true or not, but the rumor is that when Audrey Hale, the woman who shot 6 people and killed 6 human beings, 6 devout Christians, or at least 6 Christians in Nashville, supposedly she was wearing a shirt that said trans rights or else. Now, I don't know if that's true, but I do know that in the wake of this shooting, that Amazon was selling shirts like that were selling like hotcakes, and the trans community has been claiming themselves to be the victims in those shootings, not those Christians who were killed. So what can we do about it? The first thing we need to be doing is we need to be on our knees and we need to be praying, as always. And we need to be praying for justice. You see, there are perpetrators of these crimes, and we need to be praying that they're held accountable for what they are doing. And we need to be praying that the FBI and law enforcement will simply protect the innocent. People are dying, people are being injured, people are being attacked, buildings are being destroyed in the name of either trans rights or in the name of abortion. And we need them to be held simply to the justice that they deserve. And I ask that you would be bold with the truth. You know, we have people saying that firebombing a building is a peaceful protest. That's not a peaceful protest. If people are dying, it's not peaceful. We need to be bold and stand up when somebody says, well, these protests are peaceful. We need to go, no, they're not. These are not peaceful protests. We all have the right to protest. We do not have the right to murder and destroy. The last thing you can do is share this video. Hit the little like, thumbs up. It is so easy. Subscribe to our channel. And if you do, hit that notify bell and you'll know every time we drop a new video. And you can share them with your friends, with your community, with your sphere of influence to get the word out about what's really happening, because you're not going to see this on the 5 o'clock news. We need to remember, the only thing necessary for evil to triumph in this world is for good people to do nothing. So do something. You'll be glad that you did.